What does every diesel owner on earth love doing when it gets cold outside? Cold start. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been several weeks since I put a video out, but today, getting ready to take this turd to its storage facility where I hopefully will be able to work on it too throughout the winter. Got quite a lot of things I'd like to get done on this thing. The battery has been dead. I've been charging it. I have found an issue last night where my electric fan for the transmission is drawing current and running without the key being on. There's several things on this thing that need rewired. That's one of them. So I just disconnected the power to it. The way I have it wired was failing, and it was getting power without the key being on. I walked outside and the fan was just running last night, so that's pretty cool. So we're gonna get this turd started. It's not super cold, it's like 40 degrees. Might have to put the mega cab on it to jump it on. I don't know yet, but we will see. Okay, got it running. That was pretty uneventful. Now we're gonna take it over to the shop where it's gonna be stored for the winter. Made it to storage in the undisclosed location. And we gotta do a little finagling in here to get this thing to fit. That thing is so sick. We need to do a full video breakdown on that thing soon. Okay, got it in its final racing space for the winter. Plenty of room to walk around it and work on it. So here we are in this awesome little shop for my truck to hibernate in during this Indiana winter, and for me to be able to do some work on it that I want to do for this next race season. Can't thank Brian and Firewire LEDs, my main sponsor, for the opportunity to be able to use a little bit of his space to be able to store this thing and work on it. Super awesome and helpful of them, and can't thank them enough. If you need LEDs, if you need anything really truck related, suspension, wheels, tires, lighting, bed covers, hitches, all kinds of stuff, hit up firewireleds.com, call them, they'll get you taken care of. I want to go over a couple things that I want to do on this truck, a couple goals. These could change. It is December, early December 2nd. And these could all change, no idea. First thing is, it might not be the first thing that we do, but it's one of the main things that I want to get fixed is wiring. I have some sort of a draw somewhere that has always drained this battery if this truck sits for a long period of time. During the summer, it's not a problem because I drive the truck. It gets driven around my town. I take it out every now and then. It gets started. We race it, once a month, for the most part, and it's not a problem. Moving the truck here from my house, from my driveway, battery was completely dead, zero. I was able to get it on the charger. I found that my transmission fan in the bed of the truck has a draw, which it's not supposed to with the key off, but it has been. So that's an issue. When I drove the truck over here this morning, I could not connect my phone to the Quadzilla. That kind of worries me. You're not supposed to jump start these trucks with the Quadzilla attached. I've heard people have no problems with it. I've heard people fry the adrenalines. Mine might be fried. It does not communicate with my phone at all. I unplugged it and plugged it back in. That didn't help. So wiring, we're going to do some stuff there. I'm going to be pulling off of these nitro solenoids. I might still just keep one on there, or I might go to a HammerTech dual solenoid setup somewhere else somewhere mounted better, redo the wiring, redo the lines. The goal for next year is to not use nitrous in 770 to either spool or run the number. This last year I had to use it to spool, and I had to use it feathering it down the track to run my number. The truck, in the 90-degree weather we had at most of the races, it would not run a 770. It would run mostly 780s on fuel, so it needed a little bit of help. So we're going to redo those and get rid of two. I'm not going to have the two like that. If you watched my last video, this is temporary. Moving on to the back of the truck, the fuel cell is going to get redone. I plan to move it back into this area and lower. I would love to have the fuel cap kind of level with the bed here. And so I'm going to redo all the lines, get rid of this. This works fine, but it's, you know, kind of ugly. It's not really necessary. I'd like to have that Y fitting down in the frame or somewhere hidden. Going to get a better vent set up, and I won't have to climb over this and stand here just to put fuel in the stupid thing. Next thing I want to do is, this truck still has factory leaf springs. So these are factory 2500 Ram leaf springs. It's a four leaf pack. You can kind of see there. The block was taken out, which lowered the rear end about 4.5 inches, and the overloads were removed, obviously. We still don't need that much spring. I'm going to take the bottom and the next one up off and redo my U-bolts and all that. And I'm going to put a clip in it right here. The truck seems to do a lot of bouncing that I don't like it doing when I launch. So I'm gonna try to change my shock setup. I might get some help from somebody who can fabricate to where I can put a bar across here and run 2 shocks straight up and down and get like some AFCOs or some QA1s with some adjustability. Even though it's not a super fast truck and it's in a slower class, it doesn't mean you won't run into issues like that and have to get them changed. Probably one of the biggest things, and I'm gonna climb in here, is transmission cooler lines. As you know, if you watch my videos, I've had transmission cooler line problems. All the fittings I run are vibrant push lock, just like what you see here on this fuel return. And I have learned the hard way, and I should have already known this, that they are not sufficient for high pressure or high temp transmission lines. I've had these blow off twice, once during a burnout and once on the drag strip. And I oiled the track down. Luckily, it was a test and tune and not an ODSS event, but it was still terrible. So we're going to redo those lines completely. So that'll be nice to have that done. Obviously, the truck will get all new filters. It's going to get some new air dog filters, oil change. It's likely going to get a transmission fluid change, engine oil change, filter, of course. We are going to be changing the turbo. And as always, Greg Turner, GT Performance Turbos. We're going to work together, and he's going to hook me up with a new turbo setup. We're not dead set on anything yet. Like I've said, the goal is to get this thing to spool without nitrous. This is a S363 68 83 T4. So pretty tight exhaust housing, small turbine, but it still doesn't like to spool as good as it should, or as good as I would like it to. Well, it doesn't spool at all in the heat. It needs nitrous to do it. VP44s don't have a whole lot of RPM at their disposal. We might do a converter change on top of the turbo change. I'm not sure. We're going to be changing some stuff. It's also going to get a new set of injectors. I am going to reach out to 1 or 2 companies. But other than that, I might just try to find like a used set of 6x13s to throw in here. Just jump up the injector size to like a mid to mid-high range injector size. Try to give this thing a little bit more fuel. Ideally, the truck needs 50 to 75 more horsepower on tap, fuel only, to be able to run 770. I could continue to make this truck lighter. We've talked about completely removing the dash, completely removing the carpet, removing all the glass and getting Lexan, further gutting the bed even more, or even going to like a fiberglass door or a fiberglass bedside. But I really don't want to do that. I feel like if I'm going to make those kind of investments in parts, I'd like to have, you know, a 670 or a 590 truck to be able to use those resources on. I think I am one of the only trucks in 770 that has a gutted interior and a gutted bed. I take that back. There's plenty of guys that gut their interiors, but they put their interiors back in most of the time from what I've seen. But typically also, it usually takes around 700 to 750 horsepower to run a full weight truck in 770. You guys know I have about 550 horsepower, but I weigh about 1,200 pounds less than what the truck weighed factory. So that makes up for it. So yeah, those are the main bullet points. I'm going to just work to fine tune a few things, fine tune the wiring, bigger injectors, different turbo, or if the injectors seem to give it a little bit more oomph, we might even look at changing a converter to a different stall, and maybe that turbo stays. I don't know yet. Kind of lastly on my mind is to possibly yank the transmission out. It has every bit of 200 passes, maybe more on it, and the oil's been changed in it, but the second gear band has not been adjusted. It definitely needs attention to see if it needs adjusted. Part of me wants to just take the transmission out and drive 3.5 hours east to Fire Punk, drop it off, and have them go through it, check everything. It should, at 550 horsepower, it should be perfectly fine. It does have a couple 700-ish horsepower hits on it with nitrous. But it would also be a good time to upgrade to their stage 2 comp transmission, which is the addition of a billet intermediate. This truck has their comp 1 transmission in it right now, which is a billet input and a billet output, but it has a factory intermediate shaft in it. So it might be wise. I'm going to look into see. I'll probably call them and get a quote on that. At that time, also might look at changing the converter. So hopefully the next video after this one will be the first video of doing some wrenching on this thing. And for right now, I'm going to, we're going to fast forward one day. I'm going to go hook up the mega cab to the gooseneck because I have a small little load to haul for my buddy Brian, Firewire. And I'm going to film a little bit of that, and then that'll be the end of this one. Well, we got some pretty crap weather. Cold start. Oh yeah. Okay, we're here at Firewire's shop. Got a little goofy little load here of some stuff and some things, a couple of engines, and some tools that just need to get moved from this shop to a different one. Pretty hillbilly on these engines, but it'll work. If not, oh well. And here's our load. Got this trailer kind of buttered right in here, which would be nice to get these engines off the trailer and onto the concrete because there's a decent little ledge here coming up into the shop. So yeah, this stuff is just gonna come here to live now. Gonna get this stuff unloaded, shove it in there, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's kind of a boring video, but I wanted to get something out there. Finally got the truck somewhere where it's going to be nice to be able to work on it. It'll feel really good to be able to work on it throughout the winter and get some stuff done and get it ready for April. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Next video, we'll be doing some wrenching on this thing. Thanks.